My clients have guests coming over tonight and they requested a steak and Caesar salad situation. So I cleaned my romaine lettuce, thoroughly rinsed multiple times to get rid of any dirt and bugs that might be hiding. Always spin and dry your lettuces. They'll last much longer, and also dressing will refuse to stick to your greens if they're even slightly wet. Covered in paper towels and into the fridge. Potatoes are always a must whenever they have steak. It is repetitive, but it's hard to beat a crispy roasted potato. As always, rinse to get rid of excess starch. Start in cold water so that the center cooks at the same time as the exterior. Seasoned heavily with salt, thyme, rosemary, and oregano. I like to drain them when they're basically at the brink of falling apart. I throw them into the fridge to let them cool and firm up. For parties like this, I always like to blanch my vegetables. When I have multiple things to worry about, I want my pickups to be as quick as possible, especially when I don't have extra hands to help. 2 of the guests will have broccoli and the other 3 will have broccolini. Croutons are a must for a Caesar salad, so I remove the crust from this loaf of sourdough and rip them up with my hands. I much prefer rustic croutons with lots of craggly bits as opposed to cleanly cut square ones for salads. I melted butter with some pressed garlic and let that gently cook together to infuse, and added a bit of the sal Morello sauce to give it some brightness. Toss with the croutons and let that bake until buttery, garlicky, and crispy, leaving them on a paper towel to soak up any excess butter. Once in a while, my clients will give me a recipe that they want to try, and this one was a pumpkin seed Caesar dressing. The recipe called for fresh lemon juice, raw garlic, Dijon mustard, pumpkin seeds. Then I moved it to the blender because this little thing was definitely not going to be strong enough. Olive oil and a bit of water to thin it out. I ended up adding a lot more lemon juice and water to it because the recipe was just way too thick and kind of one note. It was a weird recipe and it didn't even have Parmesan cheese in it, but I decided to trust the process. Just kidding, I couldn't trust this process, so I grated a whole bunch of Parmesan to toss with the salad later. For the steak sauce, we didn't have any open bottles of red wine, but we did have this sweet Concord grape wine left over, so I decided to use that. My clients do prefer their red wine sauces a bit on the sweeter side, so this was perfect. I added garlic, onions since I didn't have shallots, thyme, and let that reduce and infuse. Once the harsh flavor and smell of alcohol was gone, I added veal stock and let that reduce again. 4 of them wanted fillets, but one of them requested a chicken paillard, so I butterflied, pounded, and marinated the breast with the garlic herb marinade and salt. Nice and simple. With about an hour until the guests arrive, I tossed the chilled potatoes with the remaining garlic butter from the croutons, put them on a sheet pan and into the oven to roast. With the sauce beautifully reduced down, I strained the aromatics out and got it ready to finish. Remember to flip your potatoes halfway through to ensure even browning. The guests have arrived and got these little caviar plates with creme fraiche and buttered toast points to enjoy. And now it's time to finish cooking. I grilled the fillets and chicken, charred the broccolini, hitting the broccolini with fresh lemon juice while they're hot, and some grated Parmesan. Finished the sauce with knobs of cold butter to thicken and give it a rich mouthfeel. And to plate, for our child guest, she got the grilled chicken paillard, avocado rose, and some steamed broccoli. And for the adults, charred lemony Parmesan broccolini, roasted potatoes, and I tossed the romaine lettuce and croutons with the dressing, a ton of Parmesan cheese, and some more lemon juice. Sauce the steaks, plate the salad, a bit more parm and croutons, and off they go.